On a sunny afternoon in Manhattan, in the heart of the United States, Ethan Parker, a young, successful entrepreneur in the technology sector, attracted attention as he walked alongside Olivia Carter, his fiancée. The couple stood out not only due to Ethan's good looks, but also because of a contrast that seemed unusual to many. Olivia was in a wheelchair. Ethan and Olivia met during a lecture on social inclusion at Columbia University, where Olivia was a guest speaker. Intelligent and eloquent, she shared her journey as an activist for the rights of people with disabilities, challenging the prejudices she had faced since childhood. Ethan, impressed by her strength and determination, sought her out after the lecture. As they talked, what began as admiration soon blossomed into a deep and genuine romance. However, the relationship was not viewed favorably by some circles of high society. During a charity event held at a luxury hotel, Ethan introduced Olivia as his fiancée. The atmosphere was filled with magnates, investors, and members of New York's elite. While some greeted her politely, others did not hide their discomfort. Whispered comments circulated through the hall. He could be with anyone and he chose her? Or, it's only a matter of time before he realizes this choice will hurt his image. Among the most vocal critics were Ethan's own partners. Lucas Monroe, an arrogant man obsessed with appearances, made sure to confront Ethan in the office the following day. "Do you have any idea what this does to your reputation? A woman in a wheelchair? Do you know what the investors are saying? That you've lost your focus," he shouted. Ethan, remaining calm, replied, "My personal life does not define my competence. Olivia is the most amazing person I've ever met, and there is nothing you or anyone else can say to change that." Despite Ethan's conviction, the attacks continued. That same week, an anonymous article was published in a gossip magazine insinuating that Ethan had been manipulated by Olivia to appear politically correct in the eyes of the public. The article gained traction, and malicious comments spread across social media. Olivia, although used to facing prejudice, could not avoid the pain of the cruel words. She began to question whether her presence was indeed harming the man she loved. One night, sitting in Ethan's apartment overlooking Central Park, Olivia opened up. "I just want you to have the success you deserve. If being with me is holding you back, maybe," Ethan interrupted firmly. "No. I love you, Olivia. All of this is temporary, but what we have is eternal." What no one expected was that fate was about to intervene spectacularly, bringing a twist that would impact not only the couple but the entire society that had judged them. Days passed and Ethan threw himself even deeper into his work, determined to show that his relationship with Olivia did not affect his abilities as a businessman. Meanwhile, Olivia continued her activism, organizing an international conference on accessibility and technology, an event aimed at connecting companies and experts to promote innovative solutions for people with disabilities. During the planning, Olivia mentioned a bold idea to Ethan to create a revolutionary device that could help millions of wheelchair users around the world. Inspired by her passion, Ethan proposed to bring his team of engineers to the cause. Despite tensions in the office, Ethan convinced his partners to give the project a chance, promising that the results could be profitable and impactful. After months of intense research, the team developed the Liberty Chair, a wheelchair equipped with artificial intelligence that automatically adapted to the environment, offering greater independence and safety for its users. The prototype presentation would take place at the event organized by Olivia at the famous Javits Center in New York. On the day of the conference, the venue was packed. Business people, journalists, and community leaders were present, curious about the innovation. However, many still looked down on Ethan and Olivia, murmuring that it was all just a publicity stunt to improve the company's image. When Ethan took the stage, accompanied by Olivia, he began his speech with a firm and determined voice. "Throughout my career, I have been taught that success is defined by profit, prestige, and influence. But in recent years, I have learned that true success lies in how we use these resources to improve people's lives." He then invited Olivia to demonstrate the Liberty Chair. Amid attentive and skeptical gazes, Olivia navigated the stage with the new chair, showcasing its innovative features: sensors that detected uneven terrain, voice commands that facilitated movement, and even technology that allowed integration with smart devices. The audience fell into absolute silence as she concluded, "This chair is an example of how inclusion is not charity, but an opportunity to create a fairer and more efficient world for everyone." At the end of the presentation, a woman at the back of the auditorium stood up and began to applaud. Soon, the entire audience joined her in a standing ovation that seemed endless. Journalists rushed to capture the moment, and social media was flooded with praise for the initiative. The event was an overwhelming success, and the Liberty Chair became the center of media attention. However, the biggest surprise came a few days later when a letter arrived at Ethan's office. It was from a renowned medical research institute in California. They had discovered that the technology developed for the Liberty Chair could be adapted for smart prosthetics, revolutionizing mobility for people with other disabilities. The global impact of the project was much greater than anyone could have imagined. Lucas Monroe and the other partners who had previously criticized Ethan tried to redeem themselves by publicly acknowledging that they had underestimated his vision. But the damage to his reputation was already done. Investors began to question why they hadn't supported Ethan from the beginning. Little by little, they were pushed away from their positions, while Ethan became the face of a new era for the company. Olivia, in turn, received invitations to speak at various universities and organizations around the world, sharing her story and inspiring millions to believe in the power of inclusion. In the end, Ethan and Olivia not only overcame the prejudices they faced, but also transformed the society around them. They showed that true love is unshakable, and that when combined with a greater purpose, it can change the world. Months after the launch of the Liberty Chair, Ethan and Olivia's lives had completely changed. They became icons of innovation and inclusion, being invited to prestigious events and even to the White House, where they presented their vision of a more accessible and just society. However, their story did not end with professional success. On an autumn day, while walking together through Bryant Park, Ethan, who always enjoyed surprises, knelt before Olivia with a smile that blended nervousness and excitement. He began, with his eyes fixed on hers. "Olivia Carter, you have taught me the true meaning of love, courage, and purpose. You have shown me that challenges do not define us, but rather how we choose to face them. I want to spend every day of my life by your side, building a better world together. Will you marry me?" Olivia was silent for a moment, tears streaming down her face. Around them, pedestrians who had stopped to watch the scene began to applaud and cheer. Finally, with a choked voice, she replied, "Yes, Ethan, 1,000 times yes." The wedding, held in a historic chapel in New York, was an event that united the traditional and the modern. The ceremony was streamed live to thousands of followers who had been inspired by the couple's journey. Among the guests were former critics who were now part of a new generation of supporters of inclusion. Many publicly acknowledged the error of their judgments and applauded Ethan and Olivia's courage. Meanwhile, the impact of the Liberty Chair continued to grow. In partnership with governments and non-governmental organizations, the technology was brought to developing countries, where it transformed the lives of people who previously had no access to mobility solutions. Ethan and Olivia created a foundation to expand this reach, funding research and projects that promoted equal opportunities for people with disabilities. But the true emotional turning point came at a community event in Queens, where Olivia had grown up. During a speech to young activists, she was interrupted by a middle-aged woman who stood up from the audience. It was Grace, her former neighbor, one of the people who had mocked Olivia as a child and belittled her for her disability. With tears in her eyes, Grace asked to speak. "Olivia, I don't know if you remember me, but I need to say something. I was one of the people who didn't believe in you, who spoke behind your back and who doubted your abilities. Today, seeing everything you have achieved, I can only feel shame for how I acted in the past. I want to apologize for everything and thank you for teaching me, even from afar, that it is never too late to change." Olivia, moved, walked toward the woman and, in a gesture of forgiveness and empathy, hugged her. The audience stood and applauded, and the moment went viral, showing the world that, in addition to strength, Olivia also carried a heart full of generosity. Ethan and Olivia's journey went beyond a romance and a technology project. They became the symbol of a silent revolution that showed the world that inclusion is not charity, but an act of justice. The message they spread touched millions of lives, inspiring not only people with disabilities, but everyone who has ever felt excluded or underestimated. As the city lights shone at night, Ethan and Olivia looked toward the Manhattan skyline, grateful for everything they had faced and achieved. They knew that together they could face anything, and that true wealth was not in the billions accumulated, but in the impact left in the world and the hearts they helped to transform. Over time, the Parker Carter Foundation, created by Ethan and Olivia, became one of the largest global initiatives for inclusion and accessibility. The foundation funded assistive technology projects, offered scholarships for people with disabilities, and promoted awareness campaigns on a global scale. But for Ethan and Olivia, the work was never just about global impact. It was also about transforming individual lives. On an ordinary afternoon, Olivia received a message from a young woman named Mia Roberts, an engineering student from Detroit. In the message, Mia shared how Olivia and Ethan's story had changed her life. "I always thought my dream of being an engineer was impossible because of my physical disability. When I saw you, Olivia, on stage at that event, showing that technology can break barriers, I decided it was time to fight for my dreams. Today, I am in my final year of college and developing my own assistive technology." Moved, Olivia insisted that Mia come to New York to present her project in person. When Mia arrived at the foundation's office, bringing a low-cost prosthesis she had designed herself, Ethan and Olivia realized they were facing something revolutionary. They immediately funded the development of the prosthesis, ensuring it would be mass-produced and distributed to underserved communities. This was just one of many examples of how the foundation was creating a cycle of positive impact. But the work was not without challenges. Critics continued to emerge, accusing the foundation of seeking hidden profits or being a tool for self-promotion. However, Ethan and Olivia remained focused. "We're not here to please everyone. We're here to make a difference," Ethan often said in interviews. Among the new challenges, an unexpected opportunity arose: the chance to expand the Liberty Chair project into a NASA space program. The idea was to adapt the technology for astronauts with reduced mobility on extended missions. The project was bold and risky, but Ethan and Olivia knew that if successful, it could open doors for people with disabilities to dream as far as the stars. The partnership with NASA brought new attention to the couple's story. Olivia, in particular, was invited to be the spokesperson for the project, appearing on TV shows and even on the cover of Time magazine, with the headline, "The Woman Who Redefined the Limits of Inclusion." Meanwhile, Ethan and Olivia's personal life flourished. Shortly after their first wedding anniversary, the couple announced they were expecting a baby. The news was celebrated by everyone, from close friends to social media followers. "This will be the biggest project of our lives," Ethan joked in a post, alongside an image of the ultrasound. When their son Noah was born, the news spread around the world. Many saw Noah as a symbol of hope and resilience, as if he were an extension of the legacy that Ethan and Olivia were building. And the couple, in turn, found in their role as parents a new inspiration to continue their work. A memorable moment occurred when Noah, already 4 years old, was taken by Ethan and Olivia to a public school that had implemented the foundation's technologies, including the Liberty Chair and other accessibility tools. Noah, curious and full of energy, pointed to a child using one of the chairs and asked, "Mommy, did you make that?" Olivia, her eyes shining with emotion, replied, "Yes, my love, but it was for him and for everyone who needs it." Noah's question became a personal milestone for Olivia. She realized that, more than creating technology, her true purpose was to plant seeds of change in the hearts of future generations. At the end of that day, as she and Ethan watched Noah play in the park, Ethan said, "We did something good, Liv, and we are just getting started." With that, Ethan and Olivia's story continued to be written, not just in the books and articles that chronicled their achievements, but in the lives they touched every day. They proved that the strength of love and determination can overcome any obstacle, and that, with purpose and courage, even the most insurmountable barriers can be transformed into bridges for a better world. Years passed, and Ethan and Olivia continued to expand their mission. Noah grew up in a home full of empathy, where words like inclusion, resilience, and equality were not just concepts, but the essence of his family's life. At just 8 years old, he already exhibited the same generous heart as his parents, often accompanying them to foundation events and, in his childlike way, trying to understand how he could help. A significant event took place on the 10th anniversary of the Parker Carter Foundation. To celebrate the occasion, Ethan and Olivia decided to organize a grand ceremony at the iconic Lincoln Center in New York City. The event brought together world leaders, activists, scientists, and individuals whose lives had been transformed by the foundation. Throughout the evening, touching stories were shared on stage, from a young woman who, thanks to a scholarship, became a doctor, to an entire community in Africa that received Liberty chairs and completely changed the local dynamics of inclusion. But the highlight of the night was Olivia's speech. Dressed in white and with a soft light illuminating her face, she took the stage to thunderous applause. She began with a heartfelt confession. When Ethan and I started this journey, we never imagined it would bring us here. We faced prejudice, doubts, and enormous challenges. But we learned that when you have a greater purpose, the strength to continue comes from the most unexpected places. She paused and looked at the audience. Today, I want to speak to those who still feel forgotten, who believe the world has no space for them. I want you to know that no matter the size of the obstacle, you have value. You deserve opportunities, love, and respect. Never let anyone convince you otherwise. The audience stood up, many with tears in their eyes. Ethan, sitting in the front row with Noah by his side, could not hide his pride. It was at that moment that an emotional surprise happened. Noah, spontaneously, ran to the stage and hugged his mother. The simple yet meaningful gesture received an even greater ovation. The night was not just a celebration, it was also a powerful reminder of how two people, united by love and purpose, managed to move mountains. The impact of Ethan and Olivia extended far beyond the United States. The Parker Carter Foundation opened offices in Latin America, Asia, and Africa, adapting technologies to different cultures and local needs. One of the most notable projects was the creation of an educational program in India that integrated children with and without disabilities in inclusive schools, transforming the mindset of entire communities. Meanwhile, Ethan and Olivia began working on their next big initiative, a global platform that connected people with disabilities to jobs, using artificial intelligence to identify skills and match them with opportunities. The project was named Bridge, symbolizing the connection between potential and opportunity. Once again, they challenged market standards and proved that inclusion was not only morally right, but also economically smart. Amidst all the work, the couple always found time for family. Noah, now 12 years old, began to express interest in science and technology, following in his father's footsteps. He often said, "I want to create something that helps people, like you did." Ethan and Olivia laughed, but they knew that deep down, Noah was absorbing everything he had learned from them. A special moment occurred at a school event where Noah presented a prototype of a robot that assisted elderly people with reduced mobility. After the presentation, a teacher commented to Ethan and Olivia, "He not only inherited your intelligence, but also your heart." Reflecting on their lives, Ethan and Olivia felt a deep sense of gratitude. They had faced storms, prejudice, and doubt, but they emerged stronger and more united. They knew that their journey was not just theirs. It was for all the people who had been left behind, who faced rejection or prejudice. Their story was a testament to the power of love and determination to transform not just one life, but the world. As they looked out at the New York skyline on a starry night, Ethan held Olivia's hand and said, "I think our mission is far from over." Olivia smiled and replied, "I agree. There are still many stories for us to write together." And so, they continued, determined to leave a legacy that would inspire future generations, proving that with courage and compassion, the impossible can become reality.